Imagine you are holding a glowing rectangle, and if you take it away, the person sitting across from you is going to just scream, cry, and declare you their absolute worst enemy.
Oh, yeah. The stakes in that moment feel, well, incredibly high.
Right. And you aren't negotiating with some highly trained hostage taker. You are literally just a parent trying to take an iPad away from a 7-year-old.
Which is pretty much the absolute definition of a modern daily battlefield in, millions of households.
It is. I mean, I am talking about the sheer bone-deep exhaustion of acting as the digital warden in your own home. If you are a parent, or, if you just know a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, completely. Parents are experiencing this profound screen time burnout.
Yes, we are fighting this massive losing battle against endless scrolling, TikTok, YouTube, mobile games. And the moment you physically take that device away,
Or when one of those aggressive app blockers just suddenly kicks in.
exactly, it locks the screen and boom, it triggers a massive DEFCON 1 meltdown. You're left standing there dealing with the tantrums, the resentment, and just, well, the draining reality of feeling like the bad guy every single evening.
And people feel guilty about it. They feel overwhelmed. They're desperately searching for a way out that doesn't involve constant policing and basically elevated blood pressure every night.
Which is exactly why, when I was digging through our sources for today's deep dive, I felt this immense sense of relief. I mean, we are looking at a product briefing and the official materials for a new app called BornFab. It's on iOS and Android.
Yeah, and the concept they're proposing here is, well, it's pretty fascinating.
It feels like a massive life-saving secret,
Mm.
honestly. If their materials are accurate, they are introducing this radical paradigm shift. They use a play-to-earn model to completely eliminate those screen time meltdowns.
Right.
So before we get into the mechanics of how this app claims to pull this off, I think we need to understand the failure of the current system. Like, why does taking a phone away feel like the literal end of the world for a child?
Well, what's fascinating here is that traditional blocking fails entirely because of how the child's brain processes the event.
Okay, how so?
Think about it from a neurological perspective, right? A child is immersed in a mobile game or a rapid-fire video feed, and those apps are engineered by some of the smartest people on the planet to deliver these highly variable, extremely potent hits of dopamine.
Right, they're basically hooked in that moment.
Exactly. And meanwhile, the child's prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, reasoning, and emotional regulation, is still vastly underdeveloped.
So they are essentially marinating in this high dopamine environment, and then an external force just comes in and unplugs it.
Precisely. The parent, or maybe a digital timer, just cuts it off. There is no off-ramp at all.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds jarring.
It is. From the child's perspective, this is perceived purely as an arbitrary punishment. It breeds immediate anger instead of understanding because, there's no logical connection in their brain between their behavior and the sudden loss of the device.
Because the algorithm was telling them they were succeeding, right?
Exactly. The game says they're winning, and
Mhm.
then the parent steps in and punishes them. They just feel completely powerless.
Okay, let's unpack this because that dynamic is crucial. Imagine if you are at your job, typing away, completely in the zone, feeling super productive,
Okay, I'm with you.
and your boss just randomly walked over, unplugged your computer, and took away a chunk of your paycheck, just out of nowhere. Like, that's enough working for today.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you'd be furious.
Right, you wouldn't sit back and think, oh, my boss is teaching me healthy work-life boundaries. You would feel entirely out of control of your own livelihood.
You would feel like the rules of your environment were completely unpredictable. But contrast that arbitrary punishment with the empowerment of actually earning that paycheck yourself, perhaps on a commission basis. You know that if you put in specific work, you receive the specific reward.
Yeah, the terms are clear.
Right. The terms of engagement are clear, and you are entirely in control of your own outcome. That contrast highlights the fundamental psychological flaw of traditional screen time management. We are demanding compliance from children without offering them any autonomy.
And according to this briefing, that is exactly where BornFab completely flips the script. Because punishment and arbitrary timers clearly fail, they introduce a strict, unbreakable rule.
The play-to-earn rule.
Yes. Learning is the only Keeley path to screen time. There are absolutely no shortcuts. If a kid wants the phone, they have to earn it.
From a behavioral psychology standpoint, it is a really fascinating inversion. They are taking the ultimate modern parenting headache.
The addictive pull of the smart device.
Exactly. They take that magnetic pull and attempt to harness it as an educational motivator.
The briefing breaks this down into something they call the habit of achievement loop. It's a three-step process. Step one, the child learns. So when they want to use their phone for YouTube or Roblox, they have to open the BornFab app first.
And complete these bite-sized educational sessions, right?
Right, just 2 to 5 minutes of work, very quick. Step two, they earn rewards. They automatically receive credits for the progress they just made. And step three, they unlock time
So those credits convert to actual screen time.
instantly. Those credits instantly convert to recreational screen time, and the device unlocks for all the fun stuff.
This raises an important question about motivation. How does giving a child autonomy over their screen time actually build lifelong self-control?
I mean, it sounds like a big leap.
Well, when a child earns their smartphone time through this loop, they are forced to engage in delayed gratification. They transition from passive consumers of digital content to active participants who actually have to budget their effort.
Oh, I see. They aren't just being forced to comply with the timer anymore.
Right. They are learning direct cause and effect.
Oh, wait, I have to push back here for a second. If we are making kids, quote unquote, earn their phone time by doing educational modules, aren't we just validating the idea that the smartphone is the ultimate prize?
That is a phenomenal critique.
Because it feels a bit like forcing a kid to eat a plate of broccoli just to earn a massive bowl of ice cream. Doesn't that just make the ice cream seem even more special? Are we actually curing the addiction, or, are we just putting a toll booth in front of it?
It goes straight to the heart of behavioral design.
Yeah.
You're talking about the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Ideally, sure, we want children to learn because they have an intrinsic love of learning.
Right. But that's not always reality.
Neurobiology tells us that competing with the hyperstimulating environment of a smartphone using just a textbook is a losing battle. The play-to-earn model doesn't cure the addiction overnight. What it does is provide scaffolding.
Scaffolding, like a bridge.
Exactly. It uses their existing currency, their intense desire for screen time, to build that bridge.
So you basically meet them where their neurochemistry currently is.
Precisely. And over time, the achievement loop is designed to create its own intrinsic reward. When a child routinely overcomes a difficult logic puzzle to get their time, they're building distress tolerance.
Oh, wow. They are learning that intellectual effort yields positive results.
Yes. Eventually, the pride of mastering the challenge begins to rival the dopamine hit of the game they are trying to unlock. It introduces friction, and in a digital world designed to be entirely frictionless, well, friction is highly protective.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because as a parent, your immediate thought is going to be, how do I know my kid isn't just wildly tapping the screen to rush through the math so they can get back to TikTok?
Oh, kids will absolutely look for the path of least resistance.
Exactly. If I give my kid a 5-minute math quiz to unlock YouTube, they will just mash the C button until the timer runs out.
Which is why the mechanism preventing that is so critical. Without verified proof of work, any educational system like this immediately collapses into just a performative exercise.
And the briefing details how they solve this. It's entirely algorithmic. The app doesn't just measure the time spent, it measures accuracy and mastery.
So if a child starts wildly tapping the screen,
Right, if they start mashing random answers, the adaptive algorithm recognizes the pattern of button mashing immediately. It halts their progress and forces them to redo the concept, or it initiates a temporary lockout.
oh, that's smart.
Yeah. They cannot earn the time currency unless they maintain a specific threshold of accuracy.
That changes the dynamic completely. It acts similarly to a cryptographic hash in blockchain, but, applied to a second grader's math problem.
A blockchain for kids math. I love that.
Right. The system demands verifiable proof of cognitive effort. If the child attempts to game the system just introduces more friction. This teaches the child that rushing actually delays their ultimate goal.
But what exactly are they learning during these verified sessions? Because if they are just doing, basic flashcards for 2 minutes, that seems like a pretty low bar for entry into the wild west of the internet.
The curriculum outlined in their materials is actually surprisingly comprehensive. It's designed to build both traditional academic strength and some non-traditional life skills.
Yeah, looking at the breakdown here, they obviously cover math. So everything from basic counting up to fractions, addition, multiplication, and logic puzzles.
And the English section.
It covers vocabulary, grammar, and conversation through these immersive stories. But the modules that really caught my eye are the ones you don't typically see in standard schooling apps. They have a logic section that teaches fundamental coding basics.
Identifying patterns, understanding sequences.
Yes, exactly.
The inclusion of logic and coding basics is a very deliberate choice. It teaches computational thinking, how to break a large, complex problem down into smaller, manageable parts. That is a skill that translates across almost every modern profession.
They also highlight a focus module. According to the briefing, this section is entirely made up of attention span and working memory exercises, and they were specifically built by child psychologists.
That's a great addition.
And then there are health and money modules, too.
The money and health modules are particularly noteworthy. I mean, teaching financial literacy early, understanding the concept of value, the mechanics of savings, how economies work, it is vital.
And pairing that with health education.
Right, like the importance of nutrition and building healthy physical habits.
Yeah.
It creates a holistic approach. It is preparing the child to navigate the real world rather than just preparing them to pass a standardized test.
And as they complete these sessions with high accuracy, they aren't just earning screen time, they also earn digital gear to customize their own avatars within the app.
Yeah, well, interesting.
Yeah, but the product briefing is very clear to point out that BornFab itself is not a game. The avatar customization is just a localized reward system for their hard work.
It's a clever implementation. It taps into the exact same reward centers of the brain that make mobile games so sticky.
Collecting virtual items.
Exactly. Collecting items, customizing a character. But it redirects that specific dopamine pathway toward educational achievement.
Now, I have to admit, when I first read about all these features, my internal alarms were ringing loudly regarding privacy.
Oh, actually.
Because usually, when you see apps that promise to manage your kid's phone or offer these elaborate reward ecosystems, there is a massive catch.
They're secretly mining your kid's behavioral data.
Exactly. Selling it to advertisers, or they're stuffed with sneaky third-party ads, or they require a constant open internet connection that leaves the back door wide open to social media notifications while the kid is supposed to be learning.
It is a highly valid concern. The digital privacy of minors is an absolute minefield right now, and educational technology has a notoriously spotty track record when it comes to data harvesting.
It really does.
Furthermore, if you're attempting to combat digital distraction, you cannot effectively do it in an environment that is constantly pinging the child with notifications.
But the architecture of BornFab is fascinating here. They state the app is entirely offline first, like it requires no internet connection during the actual learning phase.
If we connect this to the bigger picture of cognitive development, that offline-first environment is absolutely crucial. A space designed by psychologists to be free of digital noise provides the necessary cognitive quiet for the child to actually engage deeply with the material.
So they can actually focus.
Right. It respects their developing attention spans by removing the constant temptation to tab over to a browser or check a message.
And because it operates offline during the learning phase, it completely eliminates those social media distractions. Plus, their material state, it is fully COPITA compliant.
The highest federal standard of privacy for children in the U.S.
Yep. It has absolutely zero third-party ads, and they explicitly state in their privacy policy that they do not sell your data. Your data stays yours.
But that raises a significant technical question, doesn't it?
What's that?
Well, if the app is entirely offline first to protect the child's focus, how does the parent actually know what the child is doing? How do you get that verified proof of work if the device isn't communicating with the internet?
I dug into the mechanics of this because it seemed like a total contradiction at first. How it seems to work is through local device management APIs and microsyncing.
Microsyncing.
Yeah. While the child is doing the learning modules, the app acts as a walled garden. It restricts the device's internet pathways, creating that offline environment.
Okay, makes sense.
Then, once the child hits that accuracy threshold and the learning is verified locally by the app, the time is unlocked. At that exact moment of transition, the app sends a tiny encrypted micro packet of data in the background to the parent's dashboard to sync the progress. And then it opens up the rest of the device for the child's earned leisure time.
That is an incredibly elegant solution. It maintains the cognitive quiet during the work phase without compromising parental visibility, which I suppose brings us to how the parent actually interacts with this data.
Right, because the whole point is removing the parent from the role of the bad guy. This is where the parent dashboard comes in. It's a dashboard that sits directly on your own phone, giving you real-time visibility into your child's learning journey.
So no more guessing.
No guessing at all. You don't have to wonder if the app is working or if they actually did their math. It tracks the exact minutes they've earned, their daily learning streaks, the virtual coins they've collected, and most importantly, their growth milestones.
You can see exactly what skills they are mastering and where they might be struggling.
Exactly.
Think about how that fundamentally changes the dynamic in a household. It shifts the parental approach from suspicion to celebration.
Oh, I love that phrasing.
Instead of grabbing the child's phone to audit their browser history or check what they did wrong, the parent is looking at their own dashboard to see what the child has achieved. It provides verifiable proof of learning, which translates directly into parental peace of mind.
And according to the briefing, this accessibility is a huge part of their adoption rate. I mean, the app operates on both iOS and Android ecosystems, meaning it works regardless of what devices your family uses.
And it's not just some untested prototype either.
No. They highlight that it is highly rated by over 10,000 families currently using the platform. And pricing-wise, it's really flexible. It's about $3.99 a month for up to 2 kids and goes up to $7.99 a month for up to 6 kids. They even offer a 7-day free trial.
That makes it very accessible.
And to help families actually implement this massive shift, they provide a free screen time contract PDF right on their website.
A formal, written contract is a highly recommended tool in child psychology, actually. Having a printable document helps families sit down during a moment of calm.
Not during a meltdown.
Exactly, not during a meltdown, to set clear, fair rules. It ensures that everyone, both parents and children, understands the expectations and the mechanics of the play-to-earn system from day one.
Which is such a smart way to get the whole family on the same page. You aren't just imposing a new tech limit, you are agreeing on a new household economy.
A new household economy, that's a great way to put it.
You are outsourcing the word no to the system itself. If your kid comes up to you and begs, "Can I watch YouTube? Can I play Minecraft?" You don't have to sigh and prepare for a battle anymore.
Right.
You just smile and say, "Sure, go open, BornFab." The boundary is set by the math and logic modules, not by your current energy level.
It brings incredible consistency to the household. Children thrive on consistent boundaries. When a parent is exhausted after a long day of work, they are far more likely to cave in and just hand over the iPad to get some peace and quiet.
Guilty as charged.
Right. But the app removes the parent's fatigue from the equation entirely.
It really does feel like it flips the script. It takes that massive universal problem, the absolute exhaustion of fighting your kids over screen time, and uses the phone's own addictive pull to actually solve the issue.
They learn, they earn, and they unlock their time.
Yeah. According to these materials, you get your evenings back, you get your sanity back, and you never have to play the role of the digital warden again.
It represents a profound philosophical shift from a model of restriction to a model of empowerment. We are talking about transforming the smartphone itself. We are taking a device that is universally recognized as a source of household toxicity, friction, and anxiety, and converting it into a self-sustaining educational engine.
So, what does this all mean for you listening right now? I want you to really visualize this for a second. Think about your current evening routine.
Picture the usual chaos.
Now imagine what those evenings would look like if screen time negotiation simply vanished. If you never again had to face that hostage negotiation meltdown over a glowing rectangle, because your kids inherently understood that their entertainment had to be purchased with their own intellectual effort.
And beyond the immediate, tangible peace in your household, I'd like to leave you with this broader thought to mull over. We're raising children who are going to inherit a highly automated, instant gratification world.
Right, everything at their fingertips.
If we successfully train this generation to view digital entertainment not as a default, innate right, but as a privilege that must be actively earned through focus and work, well, how might that earn your leisure mindset radically reshape their work ethic, their resilience, and their self-discipline when they become adults?
Because if we can teach them early on that the reward always comes after the work, well, maybe that daily household hostage negotiation finally turns into a lasting peace treaty.
Get the BornFab app today.